Veteran on the Move, episode number 12. Welcome to Veteran on the Move, your pathfinder to freedom. If you're a transitioning veteran, an entrepreneur wannabe, or someone who's still stuck in that J.O.B. trying to escape, this podcast is dedicated to your success. So welcome aboard, sit back, and enjoy the ride. Are you ready to unleash the online entrepreneur within you? Is there an entrepreneur within you waiting to break through to make your vision and dreams a reality? Today we're talking with Anthony Tran, founder of Marketing Access Pass, and his goal is to help you unlock your potential so you can take your business to the next level. All right, Anthony. Here's a good one for you. We were on a Facebook group chatting back and forth, and we were talking about each other's business. And we said, "Hey, you want to do an interview?" And we said, "Yeah, sure." And so here we are, literally just a few minutes after setting this up via the Facebook group. So here we're going to do an interview, and we're going to talk about Anthony's business. And before we jump into that, Anthony, could you tell us what you did in the Air Force, since you're an Air Force veteran?
Sure. Yeah, I was in the Air Force. I got out in 2006. I was a logistics officer. So basically, I specialized in deployments and redeployments. Did some time in Iraq as a chief deployment officer. And it was a great time. I really enjoyed my time being in the service, and it's really opened a lot of doors for me. So, but thank you so much for having me on the show.
Absolutely. Where in Iraq were you at, actually?
I was stationed I was actually in Taji. I was kind of bouncing around because as a redeployment officer, you have to kind of go to one location to pick up troops, drop them off. So I was kind of bouncing around between Kuwait, Taji, close to Baghdad. So it was, and I was also in Bahrain for a little bit. So I was never in one place for too long. I was constantly flying around in Chinooks and C-130s from one location to another to pick up, like I said, to pick up and drop off troops.
Yeah, I'm sure back 06 was the peak of it, I believe. So I'm sure you were quite busy. So tell us about, as you got closer to getting out of the Air Force and you're looking towards transitioning, what have you done? What'd you do just prior to getting out, and recently since then, in the context of transition?
Yeah. So basically, when I had joined the Air Force, my goal was to go to pilot training, and I was actually selected to go to pilot training. I was supposed to be stationed in Moody Air Force Base. But unfortunately, a week prior to training, I had to go to one more medical flight physical, and I got medically disqualified for a vision test. And man, it just took my dreams to a crashing halt. Right?
Was it the color vision?
It was not the color vision. It was like this red lens test where I had to try to make these two red dots, I guess, sync together. And I couldn't get it to sync together. And so I had the potential of seeing double vision under stressful environments. So that's why the medical flight doctors wasn't able to sign off for me. Oh,
man. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, that's every pilot wannabe's greatest fear is,
Yeah.
I remember for about a 3-year time frame, I was just, as long as nothing crazy happens, I should go to flight school and I should come out being a pilot. But you never know. I know lots of guys just fell victim to things out of their control. So
yeah.
But so you ended up becoming a logistics officer, and so on your way out, what were some of the things that you experienced with your transition?
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons I brought that up, was because my original intentions were to serve 20 years as a pilot and transition to fly commercial airlines. But when that all changed, I had to make a decision and see, well, where do I want to do now? What kind of career transition can I make? And so I decided, if I can't fly, then I wanted to serve my term and basically transition to corporate America and see if I can climb the ranks there. So I had done some preparation in planning for this. So I was working on my MBA while I was in the Air Force, and I completed my MBA in 2006. And so it was a perfect transition for me because my commitment was coming up. I just finished with my deployment in Iraq, and I got some great experience, some real world experience that I would never trade, because it was the most amazing thing I've ever done. So after I completed my term, I knew that, okay, this is a great opportunity for me to take my skills and experience and transition to corporate America. So taking the military education, leadership experience, and then also the MBA business background. So I felt like it was a good time for me to make the move.
And so how did you like corporate America, and what were some of the things you initially got started in?
Yeah, so when I got in 2006, I took like a few months off, did some traveling, and then I started on the job front. I was working with some, I guess, military transition recruitment companies, and they found me some great opportunities. But actually ended up working for a Fortune 500 company in a management and training program, and that was a great transition. They really helped integrate me, and I essentially became an operations manager after 10 months into the program. And I was doing management for about 6 years. And, at first, I'll be honest, for the first 6 months, it was a pretty big transition from leading and managing in the military environment versus managing and leading in the corporate environment. So that had to take me some time to adjust. But, I did adjust, and I did all right. And, I was pretty happy with my career, but at the same time, there was this kind of burning desire to start my own business, do my own thing. And I was working on building an online business on the side for a couple years, and eventually transitioned and started my own business.
And so where did the idea for Marketing Access Pass come from? Was it just a gradual escalation after messing around on the side for a couple years doing the online thing?
Yes. So basically, working in a corporate environment as an operations manager, I was working a lot of hours. I was working probably 12-hour days or more, sometimes 6 days a week, nights, weekends, holidays. So it was a lot of time and dedication into my career, and I was, I felt like I wanted to spend a little more time with my family, have the flexibility to travel more, and I couldn't do that in that kind of work environment. It's hard to take more than a week off at any time. So I was, looking into different small business ideas, brick and mortar businesses, franchises. And then I had dinner one night with my uncle, and he was basically sharing with me how he left his corporate job at IBM as an electrical engineer. And I was thinking to myself, wow, that's a really good high paying job. Like, what are you doing now? How did you, replace your salary? And he said, well, I started my own online business on the side for a couple of years, and now it's able to replace my full-time income. So I'm gonna, do this instead. And so it really sparked my curiosity, and I started researching stuff online, and I kind of just, I guess, snowballed into this online world of, how people create websites and how they make money online and how they drive traffic to it. And I was in this constant mode of learning, and I wanted to learn more. And the more I learned, the more I got excited about it. And so I started creating websites, just experimenting with search engine optimization, email marketing, all kinds of stuff. And eventually it got to a point where I was doing stuff for other people on the side. And my clients would tell me, hey, you are really good at this. You need to teach people, or you need to do this for a living, because this is what you have a knack for this. And so that's kind of how this all started.
Now, some of the stuff your uncle was doing, was he doing stuff similar along the same lines, or was that just what got you interested in it and you took a different road?
Yeah, so basically his type of business is e-commerce, and it's more of like a drop shipping model. And if your listener's not familiar with that, it's basically where you are like the storefront, and you partner up with a distribution company. Maybe they create or produce products, but they need people to help market and sell the product. So what he did was he created a website, storefront, e-commerce site. People would come to the website, and they would look at the merchandise, and then they would, purchase through his website. And as a result, that order gets sent to his distribution company, and they end up sending it directly, that product, to his customers. And they also brand it with his product name and everything. So to a customer standpoint, when they see that, they don't see any difference. They feel like the order got fulfilled and it got shipped to them. And he does all the customer service interaction. and also the, I guess the support for the customer. And so that was a really cool business model. And I was actually looking into something like that, but I couldn't find any products or services that I kind of could, work with that I felt was going to be within my niche. So I decided that I was going to create more of a virtual product and service where I create online video tutorials where people can, opt in and to my membership site. They can get training videos to learn how I do what I do. And if they want some additional services because maybe they don't have the time or energy to learn it, so that they can outsource it to someone like myself and my business to take care of it for them.
Can you give us a few examples of some of your online tutorials and videos that you're teaching people?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for example, if somebody is new to the online space and they want to learn how to create a simple WordPress website, I would teach them how to set up their hosting account, their domain, how to make it all work together, where to get WordPress themes and customize them so it has a great look and feel for the business. And then it kind of leads them into other additional things that they need to learn to make their online marketing work effectively. So, for example, email marketing, teach them how to create landing pages, squeeze pages, email autoresponders, how to do social media like Facebook, and also how to drive traffic with search engine optimization. So, how to optimize their content so that way they can get ranked on Google and then get some organic traffic that way. So those are just some examples of the videos and tutorials that I offer on my website and membership site.
And so if I get on there and I start going through all these videos and I'm learning it, but I get to the point where I'm like, you know what, this is way too much time and effort for me to try to figure all this out. I can just hire Anthony to do it for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a team, and we all work together to provide those services. So I do a couple things. If you need a website and you want to have someone create it for you, like I said, that is something I can offer. I also do SEO services. So I have a lot of clients that actually approach me for SEO services because it takes a lot of time to not only learn it, but also to how to do it and do it effectively. So they typically just outsource to me. They hire me for a couple months and I would basically do all the back work for them and then help them get ranked on Google, help them get traffic. And if they want some like consultation or learn how to do marketing strategy, how to build their inbound marketing campaign, I also do a lot of one-on-one coaching and consulting for clients. So it's multiple things. I realized that there's so many aspects of building an online business and building an online marketing funnel that I wanted someone to have the ability to go to one place to get all the answers and help that they need in one website.
Because, this entrepreneurship thing is great and all, but I don't know if you've experienced what I've been experiencing is it's like the brand new shiny object. You think you know what you're going to sit down to work on today, and all of a sudden something pops up. It's pretty and shiny and looks cool. And next thing you know, you're looking into that as a possible tool or mechanism to use in my business. And so it's easy to get sidetracked and suckered into that. And that's why I asked you, because I've done a lot of the online tutorials, and a lot of the stuff I've done up to this point, I've pretty much done it on my own. Because you can't throw money at every good idea that comes along, because you'll eventually run out of money. And so you really do have to learn a lot of this stuff yourself, at least to the point where you realize, okay, I'm not going to use this in my business. It's not necessary. Or I am going to use this. However, I can't be the one spending all my time doing it. So I need to hand this over to somebody else, like maybe yourself, for as far as marketing is concerned. So I imagine a lot of your customers go through that cycle of online life.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's one of the biggest things that I coach people through with my clients is there's more than many ways to drive traffic to your website. There's so many ways to generate and monetize your business. There's so many ways to, different social media platforms to be on and stay engaged. So it's always best to review what the product or service that you're offering and figure out which platform best serves you and your customers. And so it's, you kind of have to focus in on the things that work well for your platform and then spend 80% of your time doing that. and then kind of not worry so much about, like you said, all the other shiny objects that are available to you. So yeah, I definitely know that from experience, and also from working with a lot of clients that can be sometimes a derailer in their business.
In some ways, it's really like a double-edged sword because there's so much new stuff coming out every day that you have to at least look at things and evaluate things, or have someone doing it for you. Otherwise, you might miss the next big thing and fall behind in the online world or the internet world. So you can't really ignore all the shiny objects all the time, because some of them are up and coming, and you really do need to get involved in them or get on board with that stuff. So it does help having an advocate or somebody out there that you can consult with that is also keeping up with that stuff and just telling you, thumbs up, thumbs down as far as whether you need to pay attention to certain things.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of the one things that I like to enjoy researching, is all the new and upcoming ideas, what's going on, and then I test them out for myself on my product and website, and I kind of find out what works well, and then that way I can make recommendations to my clients and my audience about what things that they could be using, and maybe the things that they should be paying attention to, and maybe the others that maybe they can live without. So.
Yeah, and from my experience, that's invaluable to have somebody, a trusted agent that can give you the thumbs up, thumbs down as to whether you need to explore using this product in your online business or whatever it may be using. So, can you go over? I don't know how much you're willing to share or how it works, but what about cost structure and pricing plans and that kind of thing?
Sure. Yeah, I'll be happy to share some of that. So, for example, my SEO services packages, they start as low as $497 for local search engine optimization, and then the national SEO packages start as low as $697. So that's very competitive. That what's compared to in the industry. There are other SEO companies that charge upwards to thousands of dollars. But you kind of have to find someone that you trust, and that's usually the clients that find me are the people who've worked with me in the past, who know me well, that know that I'm not going to be doing anything that's considered black hat SEO strategies where it's kind of shady stuff. They know that I'm just like you, a veteran, where we believe in integrity first, right? So
right,
we're going to always do things the correct way. So
yeah, there's a lot of black hat stuff out there. Of course, I think in the beginning it may have a lot of it seemed like it was all black hat, but over time the online world's realized, trust and integrity, just like your typical brick and mortar store, eventually trust and integrity works its way to the top, and those that are doing it the right way are the ones that prevail.
Yeah, absolutely. It's you can do black hat SEO strategies that can give you quick, fast results, but Google's always updating their algorithm. They're constantly monitoring this kind of stuff, and if they find out that you're doing that stuff, you're not going to be lasting in the long term. So you're right. So people need to focus on doing things the right way. It may take a little bit more time, but it will definitely be worth the time and investment in the long run.
Now, how many years are you into marketingaccesspass.com at this point? When did you start?
So I've been doing online business for 5 years, and I actually launched Marketing Access Pass in actually New Year's Day of this year, 2014. So
okay,
it's been an exciting ride. I've met so many great people. I've been doing online marketing services in the past for, in other various website iterations, but this one's kind of been my, I guess, 2.0 version of all my other previous websites. So I really kind of polished things up in the process and how I wanted to position myself online. So,
yeah, and as far as in the context of military veterans and the veteran community, spouses, other family members, especially a lot of folks living overseas, or they're in positions where they're not going to have a storefront type business, that kind of thing. The online business world is just as big as it is and as popular as it has become. It's still the wild, wild west, and it's still wide open and there for the taking. So the online concept of running a business and the online entrepreneur idea is one of my favorites. And there's just so much untapped potential there that, especially for nomadic people like military folks, where you build up a lot of trust in one town or with the locals, and then all of a sudden you get the PCS orders and you're moving again, and your business comes to a screeching halt. So in the online world, it's not going to matter. It's going to be transparent to your customers as long as you stay up and running. So the online world is definitely my favorite entrepreneurial playground, if you will. Now, you started Marketing Access Pass at the beginning of the year, but more recently, you also started a podcast, the podcast to go along with it, right?
Yes. And I'm glad you mentioned that. It's a podcast. It's also named Marketing Access Pass. And it's really created to inspire and educate people about online marketing, very similar to what you're doing, Joe. And just, teach people that, hey, there's different alternatives to the traditional small business or traditional maybe jobs or careers that people think about. And that's one of the things that I want to educate people, because I have experience in working in the corporate environment, working in the military. And I wanted to give people different options that, hey, if you're interested in, being an entrepreneur, building your own business and creating some flexibility for your family or your own business, then online business, as you mentioned, is such a great way to create a business and a lifestyle for yourself. And as you mentioned, veterans especially, they're used to traveling and moving around so much with the family, and this online business is so great because you can be flexible. If you're still in the military and you're planning to transition and you're thinking like, well, I'm not really sure where I'm going to permanently reside, or I'm not sure if I live here for a couple of years, I'm going to move somewhere else. Maybe their spouse is still in the military, whatever the case. It's a great way to build a business without worrying how it's going to impact your own lifestyle that you currently have. So I can't agree anymore. And that's the only reason why I created the podcast, is to help inspire people and educate them on so many different ways that they can build an online business, so many different ways that they can monetize it, and how other people are doing it, what kind of success and results they've been receiving.
Now, looking back when you're still on active duty and in your transition and where you're at now, would you have any tidbits of advice or words of wisdom for those veterans that haven't quite made the transition yet, but they're looking to do something in the entrepreneurial realm?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would definitely say veterans definitely have some skill sets that will help them become successful as an entrepreneur. One of the things that I noticed that a lot of military veterans have is just this, I guess, tenacity and dedication. We believe that we'll never give up. I think that's definitely ingrained in us, and work hard, to achieve anything you want. And we're used to working hard. And even though in times of adversity, in times where it's very stressful environments, all of those things really come into play in creating a business for yourself. Because there's gonna be times where, you're gonna be putting a lot of time and hours into your business, and you may not see the results right away, but believing in yourself, having that confidence in what you're doing, sticking with it. And I think, as we mentioned before, just that integrity that you have for yourself will transpire into your business. And so many people will take note of that and respect you more. And that's how you're going to be able to get ahead.
Okay. Can you give us a little bit of what's it like emotionally and that feeling of satisfaction to be an entrepreneur and actually running your own show?
I would definitely say it's absolutely satisfying. I wouldn't trade it in for anything.
Could you ever see yourself going back to work for someone else?
No, unfortunately not.
So you're certifiably unemployable now.
I am certifiably unemployable, actually. So yeah, I mean, I love what I do. But if it ever got to a point where, for the sake of my family, if I ever had to go back, obviously I put family first. So. But if I had a choice, then no, I would definitely. This is what I love to do. I'm passionate about what I do. I want to help people, and it's very rewarding to see other people build online businesses and just see their growth and how much it's positively impacted them and their families.
And I imagine you get a lot of satisfaction and pride in watching your customers go from zero or not knowing much of anything to wherever they're at now, and propel them into the online world.
Yeah, absolutely. That's probably the best thing about doing consultation and coaching. I know veterans out there, they love to train, they love to mentor and coach people. And that's one of the things that I knew that I wanted to continue to do in whatever career I was doing. I love training, I love coaching and mentoring, and I knew that this would be a great opportunity to do that. And as you mentioned, it's so rewarding to see someone who comes to me and they have a problem, or they're kind of stuck at a certain spot. And then after the training, or after the coaching, or after the services, and they see, I could see their business grow or take it to the next level. And I get the email from them, or just a call, or a letter, thanking me for helping them. That's so rewarding. And that's one of the best parts. Even example, I had a client today who, he was one of my coaching clients a couple months ago. And I was just asking him, hey, how's everything going? And he had sold his first online product, and he was so excited about the results. And I just, gave him some tips and congratulated him. And then he said, hey, you know what? I really enjoyed what we were doing together. I learned so much from you. Do you mind if we can kind of start up another session? And I said, absolutely, let's do it. So, I have a lot of clients that, continue to come back from me or refer other people because, they had a great experience when they were working with it.
Well, that's awesome. Well, hey, Anthony, just about out of time here, and it was great talking to you and listening to your business. I'm definitely going to, you might see me as a client here in the near future, because I definitely see the utility in your experience in services as I continue messing around with all of my entrepreneurial pursuits. So awesome talking with you. And thanks for your service in the Air Force and over in Iraq. Glad you made it back safely. And I'm assuming if anybody wants to get a hold of you and look for your hire your services, they could just go to marketingaccesspass.com, find you on the website. You also got the same namesake podcast within iTunes and out there on Stitcher.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Joe. I really appreciate being on the show, and I'll be happy to help yourself or any other people out there that are looking for some online marketing services or coaching.
All right, Auntie. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Veteran on the Move, your pathfinder to freedom. If you like the show, leave us a review on iTunes. Reviews are always greatly appreciated. So until next time, this veteran is Oscar Mike.